Xbox 360. This is, actually I don't know what this is. This is a Jasper Xbox 360 Fat I found in my closet. This is the third time I'm trying to shoot this video. I had two other Xbox 360s. One of them you'll probably see, I'm waiting on parts for that one. And then one of them ended up being a Winchester, so that's not moddable. This had a copy of Batman Arkham Asylum in it. I've had this console for like a year, but I've never actually turned it on, because parts 360 life. But like, I tried to put it back in the drive so I could open it on camera, but you know, now the drive's stuck because it's a DG16D2S fat drive. So obviously I'm going to have to rebuild this optical drive because it's stuck. It has this cool faceplate on the front. I don't know where this would have come from. Comment if you know, I guess. But anyway, this video is going to be how not to mod your Xbox 360 because I'm committing two sins. One sin, I'm RGH3ing a fat Xbox 360, which you don't really do. You are apparently supposed to still use mod chips for these, which like, the 360 scene's a bit whingy with stuff like that. I mean, yeah, you gotta use a mod chip or else, I don't know, it's against the natural order or whatever, I don't care. The other thing that I'm going to be doing is not soldering a resistor in line with the PLL circuit. I'm just going to solder a wire, no resistor or anything. So don't do that if you're modding your own console, unless you know what you're doing. I know what I'm doing, so it's okay. Oh! You know, I was worried that I had actually already modded this system, because that's kind of a given for my closet, is a lot of these 360s I have, I just mod them when I intake them, because what's the point of having an unmodded 360 when it literally is just soldering two wires to get the thing modded, but like, there's that warranty sticker's intact, so who knows what we'll find in here. There's bits rattling around in here, I don't know if you can hear that. Ooh. Alright, let's see what horrors this thing holds. I don't care about preserving the warranty sticker, because who cares? Some people are super, oh, you gotta save the warranty sticker and put it back so it looks factory. It's obviously not factory, it's modded. Aha! Wow, that opened really satisfyingly. Okay, I kind of regret not opening this thing because it's full of dust and friends. Oh dear. There's one. See what I'm talking about? Ew. Okay, so the lore behind this system is this thing was sitting in the shop I found it in for at least a month and a half. So it's been in my house for a while, so that's lovely. Whoa. That is interesting. That is a very strange formation of dust on the heatsink right there. Yep, DG16D2S. So I'm going to be rebuilding this optical drive as well. Oh hey, it's a Kronos. You can tell because it doesn't have that secondary GPU heat pipe that goes in front of the CPU cooler. This is a very late model Jasper motherboard then. Huh, well would you look at that? It's a perfectly round ball of dust. Ew, why is it round? I do know this system powers on. I don't know if it boots, but you know, it would have been fairly obvious if it had a problem, it would have red ringed. And this is a Jasper motherboard, so like, I mean, these don't really fail all that often. I've never seen one of these red ring before, because it's only the Xenon launch revision motherboards that fail in these, because the internet is stupid. There we go. Okay, it's not the end of the world. The Slims get way more crap in them than these do. The Fats just tend to get a bunch of dust build up in the fans. Yeah, okay. That's not the worst. That's salvageable. And they're Delta fans, and not the shitty Nidec ones they put in some of the later models of 360. So these will be actually relatively quiet. Oh yeah, she's bent alright. Dust isn't too bad, but I've seen far better. Okay, well I found the plastic bits that were rattling around. Don't know where these came from, but I don't know. Okay, the board itself doesn't look too dusty. That's actually pretty good. Let's give the board carrier a clean first. Ooh, wait, shoot, I have coffee. Always place open containers of liquid near valuable electronics. It's a good idea and it will never go wrong. I saw some friends in here when I was opening this earlier, and it doesn't seem like there's any solid ones in here, so I think we win? See, this is what I'm talking about. This is why I was on edge about that PS4 being full of cockroach bits. Like, I'm telling you, it's far more common than you want to really anticipate, actually. Just straight up dust is by far the best kind of dust you can find in something. Yeah, that's not the end of the world. I think this may have been in a smoker's home or something, though, because of the color of the dust. I can't really tell, though. I'm not going for a deep clean here. I just want to get most of it out. Right? That's good enough. I'll just sit this over here to dry. Okay. Okay. Blech. I used to have a Nandex as opposed to one of these things, but honestly, the Nandex is only really okay. It kind of sucks. The software for it's pretty unstable. And the Pico Flasher is $4, and I can't even find Nandexes for sale anymore. So if you're trying to do one of these for yourself, just go buy a Raspberry Pi Pico and Google Pico Flasher. I have said this a lot in the past. The Xbox 360 modding community has been one of the most closed-off, closed-source modding communities, because you can kind of tell when people are modding a system just for piracy versus they actually want to do cool stuff with it. And the 360 was one of those systems where it was just like a bunch of annoying scene people who wanted to pirate games and cheat and stuff leading the movement rather than the academics. So we're now seeing, now that the console's 20 years old, the academics are now creating all these wonderful open source solutions that are well written and work. But, you know, 5 or 6 years ago, not the case. I was a member of the old scene, by the way, and I was on the scene when RGH3 got discovered. It was a huge, huge thing, because you no longer have to buy a crap $20 mod chip on eBay to mod a system. You can just solder 2 wires. It's so much easier. The scene also used to be fairly pretentious. I don't know if they are anymore. I haven't been around in a while, but, you know, who knows at this point. Soldering iron. So, no one else has been in here other than me, so I'm actually going to have to end up tinning these points here. It smells like burning. Right, time to actually see if this thing will read. So, what you have to do for this is actually really stupid. So, this is now cold. I can put this over here. Push the motherboard back. I need my trusty piece of garbage Windows laptop here. I guarantee you this thing's gonna have multiple connection fits on camera. Like, I'm already gonna guarantee you that that's gonna be the case. Yeah, the desk lamp can come over here. So, oh yeah, the taskbar icons are gone. I love Windows. Yes, Windows, I searched, see? Oh, dang it, it went away. So as you can see, my taskbar icons are gone, because, you know, just standard old Windows things. Let me just make a new JRunner instance. Yeah, shut up, Windows Defender, nobody cares. Okay, JRunner's running. Let's see if it'll detect the NAND. Okay, it detects the Pico Flasher. Now, what you have to do here is incredibly sketchy. I am now going to supply standby power to the motherboard with its power supply. And of course I have the biggest, bulkiest Xbox 360 fat power. This is a dev kit power cable. And you know it's a dev kit adapter because it's got that stupid notched AC power cable on it. So I have one specific AC cable that I run with only this power adapter. But anyway, supply standby voltage, but don't turn the system on. Okay, read NAND, console not found. Okay. That's a problem. Maybe I didn't solder a lead properly? That's not the connect... there you go. I just played the disconnect sound when I plugged something in. Thanks, Windows. Very cool. Oh, there we go. Now it works. I just had to reseat the Pico Flasher. Okay. This is a 16 meg NAND. Okay, wow, that's actually gonna maybe work. Okay. RGH3. I'm gonna do 27 megahertz first. Dude, that usually works. I can see what firmware it's on now. 17511. Okay. So it's not on latest firmware, but I mean it will be when I'm done with it. It's just not gonna blow the eFuse to update it, which I'm fine with. But yeah, I mean 17511, that's pretty par for the course for one of these. Okay. Create Zel, write Zel. Let's go ahead and mod this thing. For real this time, because it actually should work. Motherboard. Disconnect the power. Never ever do this, by the way, unless you know what you're doing. They make X-clamp removal tools, they sell them on eBay, they're like $2. Buy one of those instead. Don't do this. You will slip and kill your console if you haven't done this before. I've just done this a million times, so I know how to do it. There we go. Oh, ew. Yeah, it's a good thing I'm redoing the paste on this, because that paste is... Holy crap. Can you see that on camera? The die text is worn off into the heatsink. How's that even possible? What? You can make out where it says Microsoft on the bottom side of the heatsink. That is bizarre. It still says Microsoft on the die. I've never seen that before. That is interesting. So, interesting. I wonder if that's a thing on these. Well, yeah, pull the second X clamp. Ha ha. Okay. Yeah, same with the GPU. I can see you're not going to be able to see it on camera because it's way smaller, but I can also make out the package text on the die on the heatsink. How is that even possible? Corsair's finest, once again, but first I got to get all the thermal paste off. It's been like an hour, and I ended up having to take literally a metal tool to the heatsink to get the paste off. I had more success with the end of the toothbrush on this guy, but the GPU sink I had to actually get the metal pry tool out for. These are just surface level scratches. They shouldn't affect thermals too much. Let's do it. And I'm going to be using the same color wire for both wires because I do what I want. Always use flux. It's just so much better because the solder flows easier, it binds to the pads easier, it flows a lot better, it's a lot stronger, it's just like, it literally just makes the whole process so much easier. Okay. Okay, I'll go ahead and tape this down. One wire. Let me tape that down. When you're doing this with a mod chip, by the way, you really want to wait until after you get the system booting to tape the wires down because your wire placement is very sensitive with those because the actual timing is going to the FPGA on the mod chip, so you have to have pretty clean signals. But because the SMC is being used as the glitching device in this scenario, it's not nearly as sensitive. So, you know, if I don't get a first-time boot on this system every time, whatever. People in the 360 community whinge and moan, oh, your console doesn't insta-boot every single time. It usually boots in 2 attempts. Most systems I've done this to insta-boot every time anyway, so like, you're just wrong. If you don't like the way I'm doing this, please leave a hate comment. Please. I've done this right, by the way. I'll put some pictures up of installs I've done right, because I really do know how to do this the right way, but, you know, this is not the right way. Oh, dear. That is not good. Uh-oh. Looks like I may have scraped some of the silk screen on this motherboard when I was pulling the X-clamps. That isn't great, but it appears to just be ground material I've exposed. Let me just double check real quick to make sure I didn't just kill this console. If I killed this console on camera, holy crap. There is just this omen that does not want me to mod Xbox 360s. Yeah, okay, so it's just the ground plane I've exposed. I'll put some tape over it so that it doesn't short, but it should be alright. This is why I, once again, say this is not a tutorial, because this is absolutely not a tutorial. I've just nicked the board. That is awesome. I have an X-clamp removal tool, by the way. I removed it with a screwdriver for the bit, because it's funny. I don't do modding services anymore for other people, because I don't have time, but, you know, if I ever want to do this, if I ever want to do that again, this isn't really helping my case at all. Send your Xbox 360 in to me to get scratched and destroyed as I mod the motherboard. No. I'm a professional idiot at the end of the day. Okay, this point here. That's why I say sins on the bottom of Xbox 360 motherboards are forgivable, because most of the damage you do to one of these on the bottom side is fixable. Because there are so many different alt points, you can just use an alt point. By the way, Josh, if you're watching this, hello. I know who you are. You don't know who I am, but I was an old scene member. I was in 360 Hub for years. If you knew my old gamer tag, like I was pretty active from like 2021 on, and then like until like 2022. Oh good, I'm crossing wires. The wires have to intersect to... Maybe that's why you're not supposed to do the bottom side PLL on these. Oh well, that's fixable though, because I can just lengthen the wire. I've actually broken this pad on a few systems in my early days of 360 modding, so hopefully I don't do that here. My sins will be, if I do actually manage to rip the pad, it's fixable. I just have to scrape the via away and like put a big blob of solder there and use the alt point, but I don't want to do that. I should probably get a smaller iron tip for this part, but you know, how to live life dangerously. That's secure enough. Let me just make sure I didn't short to that resistor. If that resistor is bridged to the solder blob here, that's not the end of the world because those two are already connected anyway via a trace. So let me just get a multimeter and make sure the resistor is actually working. Resistor's working. Okay, cool. That works. Now, on the top side of the board, this wire goes... Oh, DB1F1. Okay, not... Okay, DB1F1's... There. Oh, weird. On this board, it's just the raw via. It's not actually tinned. Interesting. Okay, well, that's doable. I can just solder this wire from there. There we go. Okay. There's a bit of wire exposed on the end of it, but like, I mean, once again, not a very tightly packed section of the board. So the only interference that's possible coming from there is from the trace that supplies this via anyway. Okay, let me clean up. And then we'll put this thing back together. Flux isn't really corrosive or conductive or anything. It's just better to clean it off because it makes a mess later if you have to go put the console back to vanilla. I don't anticipate having to demod this thing because, like, I mean, this is a junk system I found in my closet, so. How the hell? Oh. Oh, okay, well, it's a good thing I noticed that before I gotta tape all this crap out of the way from the heat sinks first. Okay. Oh, I'm getting distracted. Too many things. Clean off all the flux. Good enough. Okay, next I'm going to do some cable management here. By the way, this yellow tape I'm using is called Captain tape. It's a special kind of thermally resistant tape that I use when soldering SMD components, but I also just use it because it's a handy tape just, you know, for electronics. It's rather thin and it isn't conductive and it doesn't, like, leave residue, so it's fairly harmless. Okay, that's fine. Time to actually tape this all down and see if it works. Okay, so, right, let's see. Before I put this all the way back together and I bother putting thermal paste on this, I'm just going to test one thing real fast, and that is there's a really handy way to tell if you're shorted to ground with an Xbox 360. If you plug the power supply in and the light turns red, then there's a short to ground and you have a problem. So just to make sure I didn't actually like scrape valuable layers of the board, I'm gonna just see if it breaks. Orange light. Nothing's unhappy. Okay. Yeah, seems fine to me. Okay. Readjust the camera. Let's get this thing back together enough to actually like test it real quick. Oh, get that out of the way. X clamp. Okay, one X clamp. That looks fine. Okay, let me get the CPU heatsink on. Okay. Alright, heatsinks are on. Let's test. Got my very special Walmart capture card. This shit low-key pisses me off. The beeper stopped working the second I pointed the camera at it. Well, literally like 5 hours later, the beeper's just like working now. Why? Bruh. So, right when I went to test this thing, my camera decided to run out of batteries. So I waited until the battery was full again to test. So. Okay, that should be enough to sync. Holy crap, it insta-booted. Wait, really? Oh, sweet. Okay. Yeah, see what I mean? Just kind of works. Just insta-booted. I already secured the wire placement, so I don't need to pull the board out and tape all the wires down after this. See? I'm telling you, this works, but it's not the right way to do it. Also, my screw tray's back here, but that's okay. Now I have to manually copy down the CPU key, because this doesn't have LAN, and I'm not getting a switch out here. Oh, that's a bad idea, but I can maybe make that happen. Nah, it's fine, I'll just copy it manually. I have to... Right, I need the Windows laptop again. Oh, and I need a USB key. Oh, there's one around here somewhere. I know I put one here because I needed it last time. Oh, I don't know where I put it. Where's my data stick? Oh, there it is. I have my Data Stick Pro, and it's upside down. Thank you, Office Depot. Now I have to manually type this CPU key that was just displayed in Zell into this box. If you're doing this yourself, you can use an Ethernet cable, plug it into your LAN, and then send it over the network, but you know, I don't have an Ethernet port nearby where I am, so I'm just gonna do it manually. Okay, well, the NAND decrypted, so is that serial number right? And then I can check. Yeah, okay. Decoded the serial number, fine. Yeah, okay, that's right. First try. Create exe build. You know what, I'm not even gonna censor the CPU key in post. You guys can have the key vault for this thing, I don't care. Oh, I can't have the capture card running home. Oh, jeez, really? Dell, why did you do this? You're a PC laptop, you're supposed to have ports. MSIO EFI. Is that even, what is on here? Nothing useful, I guess. Needs to be FAT32. Access is denied. Yeah, thanks Windows, very cool. Okay. updflash.bin, just copy that to the USB key. Okay, that should be all we need from the Windows laptop. You just like do that. Okay, let me copy the screen recordings off of here while I'm thinking about it. Ooh. Second USB stick. Oh hey, apparently it's tomorrow, and it's actually copying at speed. Oh, it was. Oh, Windows laptop. Man, I don't know. This thing's such a high-end machine for its time, but even when it was new, this thing was a piece of shit, and it's still a piece of shit. It barely works. It has so many bugs. I think it seems to be unique to this laptop's form factor or something, but like, this is not a good PC laptop. Okay, hopefully that's the last time we need to bring out the Windows laptop. Yeah, insta-boots. Ha! Wow. Yeah, you're not gonna get a link because you're not connected to LAN. Why you do this? Hey, there we go. Okay, found the update file. The NAND programmer right now is still soldered as a precaution, just in case this doesn't work. While that's flashing, check out my Q-tip collection. Eee. This plastic sheet's from a different video you probably won't get to see for a while because it was a failure, but you know. Who knows, maybe I'll see the light of day at some point. Shut down now. There's this sort of rumor in the 360 space that it's good practice to unplug and plug the console back in again after you do this. I don't know why that's a thing people do, but, you know, I'm not gonna do it. I've never, ever had to do it before. Because, like, look, just... Yeah, see? Bam! Working, modded Xbox 360. You know, it's just missing a few bits. Yeah, you know, I gotta put it back together, but that's the easy part. Okay, I'm confident. The fact that it even booted at all, I don't have an Xbox controller to test this with on hand right now, but like, the fact it booted means that, you know, we don't really have to worry. I didn't just write retail NANDs to this thing. You know what, actually, screw it. You know what, bump it. I'm gonna make sure that it's still in a modded-ish state. Oh, this is one of those weird 360 FATs that takes a while to turn off. It's weird, some 360s just turn off instantly and some don't. I don't know, like, this thing's still on. There we go. If you turn the console on with the eject button, you'll boot Zell, and that's how you know your system's modded. Yeah, see? Okay, cool. Let's get this thing back together. The board has to come out again, because I have to desolder the NAND programmer. But, other than that, it'll just go back together again. Oh, let me get the screw tray back up here. You know what? Just to challenge myself, the 360 is fairly straightforward to put back together, but, you know. Right. Now let's do it. Okay, let's desolder the NAND programmer. I'm not gonna zoom in for this part because it's relatively straightforward what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm not even gonna bother solder wicking these NAND programming pads because what's the point? It's not like having solder there is gonna hurt anything. Alcohol. Maybe I shouldn't have sprayed the board directly, but this will evaporate by the time I'm ready to turn it back on again, I guess. Okay. So I need to make sure this system still posts. I put the screws into the CPU cooler, which can put some pressure on the wires for the RGH3 setup, but I don't actually need to plug a display into it, because on 360, if the ring of light board does that little boot animation thing, that means it's posted. So that's confirmation enough that the system works, because like, I mean, if the RGH doesn't work, you're not going to get anything there. Plug in an HDMI cable, that goes to nothing. Oh! Oh dear! That is not good. Uh-oh. 0, 0, 1, 0. Okay. But the fact that the fans aren't even spinning up at all right now means that there's some power fault or something. That's interesting. So the code it's throwing is error no ANA or no HANA, which is odd because there's obviously a HANA connected. It worked earlier. That is bizarre. Did I kill this thing by alcoholing it earlier? Oh, it might still be shorted. Let me pull it from the board carrier. That's... oh dear! And here I thought this was just going to be straightforward. This is specifically why I said, by the way, that this video is not a tutorial. None of the connections I made are bad. Not a bad wire from the RGHing process, because if that were the case, it would be throwing some... it would be turning the... it's some power fault. It felt like the power end wasn't seating all the way when I plugged it in. Maybe that's just me, though. I'm not sure. Let's see. Does it work now? Bruh. What the hell? I'm sorry? It works out of the board carrier? Yeah, what? It works outside the board carrier. Is it like... No, it's not GPU memory. Or something fun. No, seems alright. It's not a board flex problem. That is bizarre. And that's a new one, I won't lie. That is a new one. I have no clue what that means then. Is there anything in the... here that would be shorting something out? I don't see where... yeah, I don't see anywhere where it would be... okay. Let's put it back together in stages. So if I put this back in here, give it another go. Oh, the roll board's not in it. It works now. Yeah, works now. Okay. What happens if I put the CPU screws in? Maybe I shouldn't have run the wires so close to the X-clamps, but you kind of have to, because if you're using topside PLL, you have to run it through that peg. Okay. The CPU cooler screws are in, and now it's working. No post, but I can't see it. I don't have fans connected, so I can't tell what it's doing. Oh, there's no HDMI plugged in. That'll do it. Okay, there we go. Yep, she works. Like I said, I'm not actually looking for a display signal from this thing. I don't even have it plugged into a display right now. I just have an HDMI cable that runs to nothing. If that ring of light board displays that animation, it works. GPU sync screws are back in. Let's see if it works now. That is ridiculously stupid. Oh, right, no HDMI. Yeah, works. Unbelievable. I don't know why that's happened. Maybe it's a screw on the raw board. What? Maybe it couldn't be? I don't know. You had a cosplay as a launch model for a minute there. By the way, remember how I said Jasper motherboards were reliable and they don't red ring? This is the first time I've ever seen a Jasper board red ring ever. Like, ever. Not counting the 2 red lights, because that's just overheating, but like the 3 red lights, I've never seen one of these do that before. Yeah, it just works. Why? Bruh. Oh my god. I guess it just wanted to be a Xenon for a minute there. See what I mean? Ugh. Fans back in. Let me put the board screws in before I continue. Oh, I never cleaned the fan shroud. Dang it. I call myself a pro-level technician. Oh, that's interesting. What the hell? The inside of this fan shroud is textured. That's interesting. I've never noticed that before. Retest. Yep, posts. Cool. I'm just gonna unplug it. It posts now, so whatever was wrong with this thing before isn't anymore. That is bizarre. Okay, well, cool. Thanks, Microsoft. Let's get this thing all the way back together now. Optical drive. Oh, wait, shoot, I forgot. I have to rebuild the optical drive. It's stuck. Oh, let me go get lithium grease. Optical drive stuck? You just gotta get that old mate Lucas up, yeah. She'll fix you right up. This is a light-on DG16 D2S drive, and I know that because when you power these drives on, they make a very distinctive noise. They're trying to be... They're trying to be... She wanted me... And they always get stuck. All of them are stuck. Like, literally every single one of them. Most late model FAT systems I encounter have these drives. Most Jaspers, at least. That are, BenQ drives, but this is a light-on drive, obviously. The BenQ drives I've found are rare, though. I've cracked a lot of warranty seals on probably around 60 Xbox 360s, and most of the FAT drives I see are light-on drives, or in very rare cases, I've had some Samsung drives and like some launch consoles I've disassembled, but like, the only time I got a BenQ drive was in a modded Xbox 360 Xenon that was JTAG'd that I got with a modded optical drive in it, but that thing was a one-off. That BenQ drive is actually still in my main Xbox 360 to this day, I'm pretty sure. I'd have to go check. Maybe I'll open it for you guys on camera one day, I don't know. I gotta clean that thing out and probably redo paste anyway. Okay. Sometimes these optical drives can be pretty full of dust, but this seems alright. So these 360 drives are fairly easy. We have to detach the tray. This is so much easier than a PC optical drive though, because you don't have to pull the whole drive shroud apart. The top and bottom just come off. And then you have to slide this peg over. Oh yeah, that's got dust in it. No wonder this thing's stuck. Gotta slide that over so that the pickup comes down and the tray unlocks. And then you just slide the tray, lift this tab here, and then boom, the tray comes off. This looks fairly complicated, but it's not. It's a fairly standard single-speed gear train. I just have to re-lube everything because there's a bunch of dust in here. I'm not going to alcohol the laser because I'm pretty sure it works. I don't see too much dust on that. It'll do more harm than good. I've killed drives with alcohol swabs before, but you know, if it works, it works. I can just reopen this thing anyway. It really isn't that huge a deal. I used to theorize that the drive belts were what was causing the drives to slip, but it's literally not. It just needs to be relubed. While I'm in here, I might as well also relube the gear laser assembly, because those are pretty noisy on these. Yeah, drive belt's okay. It's not the belt. It probably needs replaced, but it's probably not the issue here. If you have an Xbox 360 FAT with a stuck optical drive that just clunks, it's almost certainly a FAT with a light-on DG16 D2S drive in it that has this exact same problem. These all do this. Like every single one I've ever worked on. Almost exclusively. None of the other drives do it, it's just the DG16s that do it. It's so weird. Come out, gear. Why? Why do you no remove? There we go. Finally. Okay, this gear comes off here. That goes there. This pops off. Oh. There we go. Now how do I actually get this thing off? Oh, it just lifts off the... Yeah, okay. That's what I expected. That comes off. And then this gear can stay in because it's just a free spinning gear. Let me clean and lube everything. Not a lot of alcohol is required for this, but some is certainly required. You gotta get the old lube off, otherwise it just sticks again. While I'm at it, I'll do the laser transport. Yeah, I can actually feel it getting stuck. Maybe it's just because the laser's parked or something, but you know, okay, I'm gonna clean that. Yeah, dust and crap always gets in these optical drives because reasons, and then usually what ends up happening is the grease dries and then everything sticks up and, you know, the drive doesn't work anymore. So, you know, you gotta do this. If your optical drive doesn't work, chances are one of these servicing steps will fix it. Yeah, that came out black. Good thing I got in here. Lucas. You don't need a lot, but you need a little bit. Put that on there. Why won't you move? Oh, is it because this isn't parked? That's exactly why. Ha! Yeah, that's why. Because the transport wasn't parked. Lame. Or not parked. You know what I mean. Now this moves smoothly. I'll put some lithium grease here just so that it gets some. You can't really use too much of this stuff, but you can definitely use too little. So, I mean, as long as you're not literally getting it in the laser head, you'll be fine. That's much happier now. It's not nearly as chunky moving as you're moving it back and forth. Now, the eject mechanism. Goop. Goop it up. I stole that bit. Oops. That's good. And then this sits here. Actually, I'll probably put some goop on that as well. Good. Oh yeah, I can feel the difference already. Okay, let me lube the final gear stage in. More goop. Right. Let me get the grease off the top side of this gear, otherwise that belt will probably end up slipping, actually. I don't need the goop no more, though. The goop. Yeah, I'm pretty confident that's not slipping. I think we're alright. There's one way to find out, though. I can just power this guy up and see if the tray ejects now. Oh, wait, shoot, I forgot. Dang it! I need the goop again after all. More goop. I need a decent amount of goop for this part. Yeah, goop it up. Doesn't matter if you leave dry bits, because as the drive is actuated, it'll spread the lube around and it'll lubricate everything accordingly. That's good enough. Let's see if it works. Oh shoot, I forgot to screw the goop lid on. Yeah. I could just put the top back on, but that's full of dust, and that'll probably... Well, okay. 1 second. I'll test the... Fine, I'll test the optical drive. Might as well do it while I've got it apart. Okay. Oh, I didn't plug the power cable in. Okay, that's a good sound. Oh, I need the system to actually post to test the optical drive, because I'm listening for the disk spinning up. Hey! See? This drive won't even eject before. And now it works fine. See if it works vertically. Yeah, see? Or, you can't see, but it ejected. Okay. Does it actually read disks, though, is the question. My totally disgusting copy of Batman Arkham Asylum I found in the drive. Yep, cool. It read the media descriptor table off the disk, so the drive works. Okay, yep, drive works. Sweet! Working Xbox 360. Let's put this thing back together. But first, we must put the optical drive back together, because that's actually pretty important. Ooh. While I have easy access, I might as well clean this bit, because that's a bit nasty looking. Oh yeah, much better. I remember one of my friends, Eli, had a system that had a light-on DG16 drive in it. I don't remember if I ever fixed it, though. Eli, if you're watching this, did I fix your Xbox optical drive? I don't remember. If I didn't, I can, because I just did it. Fixed. Right, let's get this thing all the way back together. Ooh. I much prefer the length, by the way, for these connectors on the fats versus the slims, because on the slims, the optical drive's kind of a pain in the ass to get back in. There's enough length on the fats where I can work on the connectors from like here, instead of having to jam it in back here and plug them in from there. So, thank you Microsoft for doing it right the first time and then screwing it up. Okay, eject button. Oh wait, the top shell has to go on first. Oh, hang on. I'm forgetting something. I need to put this bit on because of reasons. I think it's just a light diffuser for these LEDs right here, but it's pretty important. Oh, that's a Phillips head. Ha! Wrong bit. Eject button. Okay. 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 Let's see if it works. I don't have a hard drive to put on this thing. I don't care. Yep, power's up, boots up. It's booting to 17559, and I know that because that's what I selected. Let's see if the optical drive opens. Oh my god, you're actually kidding me. Bruh. Ah, well now it works when you do that, so. Literally, bruh. Maybe the goop just needed to actuate a little bit more? Yeah, light on DG16 D2S things. I'm telling you, they all do this. I literally rebuilt you. Why? It's not the disc. It's not the belt slipping either, because you'd hear the motor going if it were the belt slipping. Yeah, bizarre. Let me try adding some more goop to the optical drive. Can't go wrong with more goop. Yeah, you gotta slap that, bruh. Well, let's see if it even reads discs. If anyone knows why that didn't just work and where I went wrong, put it down in the comments, because I have no idea. You saw me lube the drive, so I don't know what the deal is then. Maybe the eject motors in these just aren't good? I don't even know, man. Hey, there we go. Okay. Boom. How not to mod your Xbox 360. We even caused a red ring of death. Oh. The disc is unreadable. Oh, we're just gonna ignore that. Like if you liked, dislike if you disliked. I don't know, maybe you didn't like this video very much. Subscribe. Goodbye. Damn thing. Now it works!